This movie is terrifying because the monster is not just killing people, it attacks human mistakes. The story started with a college graduation party. Friends and classmates spent the night partying on the beach. Kay felt uncomfortable watching her boyfriend Jonah getting too close to Shonda. To make sure everyone had fun without distractions, Mitch took everyone's phones and threw them in the car trunk. Not long after, Vance and Gilbert found a big slimy ball on the beach. It looked strange, but they didn't pay it much attention. Everyone continued enjoying the party. The next day was sunny, but only a few of them remained on the beach. Kay and Mitch had slept in the lifeguard tower. Jonah and Chanda along with Vance and his girlfriend Ronnie stayed in a convertible and Marka woke up topless on a picnic table. Kay noticed some clothes and sleeping bags abandoned on the sand. Did everyone else leave already? She felt something wasn't right. As Kay tried to figure things out, a seagull landed on the sand. Shockingly, the bird seemed stuck. In just moments, the beach swallowed it completely. There was something deadly beneath the sand. Realizing the danger, Kay warned everyone not to move, but it was too late. Marcia, still groggy, stepped onto the sand and got stuck. She desperately tried to free herself with her hands, but failed. Soon, both her hands and feet were trapped. Vance ignored everyone's warnings, determined to save Marcia, but after just a few steps, he fell onto the sand as he struggled. The creature beneath tore off half of his face, then pulled him under completely. This terrifying scene left everyone stunned. They argued about the truth behind the deadly beach. Without their phones, locked in the trunk, they had no way to call for help. Jonah tried to start the car and drive away, but of course, it wouldn't start. Kay wanted to know what was hiding beneath them. She carefully placed her hand near the sand. Immediately, many transparent tentacle-like creatures emerged, following every movement of her hand. Meanwhile, Gilbert, who'd gotten drunk the night before, had been stuffed into a trash can as a prank. Ironically, this saved his life. For now, Gilbert woke up cursing and struggling to get out, but he was too fat and stuck tight. Mitch quickly explained the deadly situation, warning everyone to stay put. As long as they avoided touching the sand, they would be safe for a while. But as time passed, their willpower slowly faded. Kay couldn't understand. Last night, they'd been playing on the sand without issues. Why had this deadly monster suddenly appeared? Where had everyone else gone? Had the creature eaten them all? Thinking about this pushed everyone to their breaking point. Gilbert had it worst. Not only was he painfully stuck, but he was also roasting under the hot sun. Nearly losing his mind, Gilbert began shaking the trash can, desperate to escape. To ease Gilbert's suffering, Jonah threw him some sunscreen. The distance was far, but Jonah had good aim. Gilbert quickly rubbed the lotion onto his skin, instantly feeling relief from his misery. Just then, Kay noticed something new. Everyone looked where she was pointing. The strange ball Vance and Gilbert found last night had cracked open. They finally understood the creature beneath the sand had come from that ball. It was actually an egg. After everyone fell asleep, the monster hatched and hid under the sand. Those thread-like things were its tentacles. To figure out the creature's attack range, Kay tossed a sausage onto the sand. As expected, the sausage vanished quickly. She tried several more times, until the last sausage remained untouched. Now they knew exactly how far the monster could reach. If they got past that spot, they could escape safely. The only problem was that the safe spot was pretty far away. How could they get there without touching the sand? Jonah came up with an idea. There were 2 surfboards in the car. He placed one surfboard onto the sand, stepped onto it, then carefully placed the second surfboard in front of him. Everything went smoothly, but as Jonah put one foot onto a wooden stool, the monster struck. It pulled the surfboard backward. Jonah nearly fell, but luckily, he managed to hold himself up with his hands. However, the board kept sliding back and Jonah couldn't hold on much longer. The monster's tentacles appeared again, trying to stab Jonah's stomach. In a desperate moment, Jonah jumped with all his strength onto the picnic table. He was safe, but his stomach had been injured. Pain quickly spread through his body. Clearly, the tentacles were poisonous. Jonah rested on the table for a moment and then noticed Marcia's bag left behind. As he searched for something useful, a banana fell out onto the sand. Without thinking, Jonah picked it up. He suddenly realized the monster didn't attack him. Holding the banana, he slowly moved toward the fire pit. Surprisingly, the tentacles stayed away. Jonah figured something out. The creature was afraid of fire. To test his theory, he jumped directly onto the fire pit. He was right, the monster didn't touch him. But at this moment, everyone saw Jonah's stomach wound had gotten worse. It was covered in blisters, some already oozing pus. Enduring incredible pain, Jonah returned to the picnic table. Kay reminded him to check Marcia's bag again. He found some beverages and bottled water inside. When Jonah threw a soda to Mitch, it fell onto the sand. Jonah had used too much strength, causing his wound to tear open even more. Blood sprayed out, and he had no choice but to lie down. He couldn't move anymore. Now the monster turned its attention elsewhere. It moved the surfboards first, then started eating the tires. At this rate, the creature would soon swallow the entire car along with everyone still on it. The sun was blazing, and no one would come to the beach. If they wanted help, the only hope was the phones. They had to remove the back seat to open the trunk, but Chanda and Ronnie were too weak to pull it off. Ronnie refused to sit around and wait for death. She stepped onto the bumper with both feet, held on to Cha with one hand, and used the other hand to insert the key into the trunk lock. As the trunk started to open, Ronnie lost her footing and almost fell down. Seeing this, Mitch grabbed a body hook and tried to help. They all worked together and were just about to succeed when suddenly a beach patrol car came near. The siren startled Ronnie so badly the trunk slammed shut in the panic. Ronnie fell onto the car and got her fingers caught. They waved frantically for help. Kay shouted at Beach Patrol Officer Alex not to get out of the car. She begged him to call for backup. There was a monster under the sand that ate people, but no matter what Kay said, Alex didn't believe her. He accused them of being high on drugs. When he saw Jonah lying weakly on the table, Alex stepped out to check. Everyone thought he was a goner for sure, but to their surprise, nothing happened. Alex was completely fine thanks to his boots. Apparently, the monster couldn't hurt you if there was no direct skin contact. Alex walked up to Jonah first. He looked at Jonah's stomach and turned away in disgust, thinking it was some kind of STD. Then he went over to Gilbert, trying to pull him out of the trash can, but he failed. The whole situation made no sense, and Alex was frustrated. He walked to the lifeguard tower and ordered Kay and Mitch to come down, but going down meant certain death. Of course, they refused. Furious, Alex threatened to spray them with pepper spray. While yelling, the key hanging on his belt slipped off. He bent down to pick it up without thinking. But the moment his hand touched the sand, he couldn't pull it back. Panicked, Alex sprayed pepper spray at the monster's tentacles. Good news, the creature hated the burning sensation and backed off. Bad news, Alex's arm was already mostly gone. After a scream of pure agony, Alex collapsed to the ground. He became the monster's next meal. His death made the others even more hopeless, but Kay quickly grabbed his pepper spray. Then Mitch came up with a new plan. He wrapped his feet with towels and prepared to run across the sand. As Chanda tossed a towel to him, Mitch stumbled, crashed through the railing, and fell flat on the sand. Immediately, tentacles shot out from all directions, stabbing deep into his skin. Within moments, the creature devoured Mitch completely. Not even a bone was left behind. All that remained was a horrifying human-shaped blood stain on the sand. Mitch's brutal death threw everyone into sadness again. But Kay knew it wasn't the time to grieve. They had to find a way to escape fast. She told Shonda to pick up a piece of railing from the ground and place it on the car. Then Kay removed a few more sections. She took a deep breath and jumped onto the car. To show Gilbert the escape route, Kay told him to try and turn himself around. Gilbert gritted his teeth and pushed through the pain. Meanwhile, with Kay and Chanda's help, Ronnie finally pulled her trapped fingers out of the trunk. Kay and Shonda laid the metal railings across the sand, planning to walk across them to reach the picnic table and regroup. With Jonah, they made it safely. Then it was Ronnie's turn, but something went wrong. She moved too quickly, lost her balance, and fell onto the sand. In a panic, Kay sprayed her with the pepper spray and tried to pull her up, but the monster wasn't done. Its tentacles struck again and dragged Ronnie under in the blink of an eye. Before anyone could react, another threat appeared. Gilbert had scraped his stomach. The monster smelled blood and launched its next attack. Its sharp tentacle pierced the metal trash can and slithered inside, but Gilbert didn't notice a thing. Shonda wrapped her feet in towels and ran to the police car safely. Everyone cheered at the glimpse of hope, but as they laughed, Gilbert suddenly froze. Something was moving inside the trash can. The thin tentacles had grown thick and strong. They climbed onto Gilbert and yanked him deep beneath the sand. The tentacles didn't stop there. They began slamming into the police car. Chanda lost her balance, fell onto the hood, and passed out. It wasn't until nightfall that she woke up to Kaylee's voice. Shonda climbed onto the car roof and found a life raft. She inflated it, and Kay helped Jonah step onto it. At last, the three of them made it into the police car. But the danger wasn't over yet. The vehicle shook violently. The monster's tentacles returned, only now they were thicker and glowing with an eerie blue light. Kay realized they had no way out, so she climbed onto the roof and grabbed a gas can. She poured gasoline all over the sand. When the tentacles approached, Kay lit a match from her pocket and set the sand on fire. The tentacles burst into flames. Kay quickly climbed back inside. The creature tried to open the door but failed. Time passed. The night grew quiet. The fire finally killed the tentacles. Inside the car, everyone sat in silence, thinking about the nightmare they had just survived. When morning came, Jonah had stopped breathing. His injuries were too severe. Just then, a young man heading to surf spotted them, and woke Kay and Chanda. They carefully stepped out of the car, tested the ground, and finally let out a long sigh of relief. Kay and Chanda were finally saved, but the monster wasn't truly dead. It had only lost one tentacle. In the final scene, the monster was revealed to be a massive jellyfish silently swimming toward another crowded